Everyone, and welcome to my video on applications of polynomial functions. Now, my name's Darren from Maths Guru. Thank you very much for finding my video, Maths Guru, my little corner of the interweb, where you can find this video, downloadable summary notes, and so much more. But let's get into this before I bore you. What do you mean you're bored already? Behind me are the learning objectives, and what are we going to look at today? Be able to take the learnings from chapter 6. Now, that might not mean anything to you, but this course is sort of scaffolded around the Cambridge series of textbooks here in Victoria, Australia. But polynomials is basically a language used throughout the world. So whether you're doing A-levels or any other type of course, O-levels or GCSEs or whatever else is around the world, I promise you this will still be relevant, and it'll show you the scaffolding through which you can pretty much smash these type of questions. So we're going to look at a range of application style questions. Now, the one thing I hear all the time when people do methods is, oh, I hate the application style questions. And I'm like, well, I'm really sorry about that, because if you are doing methods over here in year 12, there is a whole section of one exam devoted to nothing more than application style questions. There's no point learning the maths unless you are going to be able to apply it to a real world situation. It's the whole point of learning this, to go on and apply it to real world situations. And there are 60 marks allocated to these type of questions in one of the exams. Now that's 60 out of 80. There are 20 multiple choice questions, 1 mark each, and 60 marks for the application style questions. So hopefully you realize that there is a huge benefit to learning how to apply the maths to the questions we're going to be doing today. Now, interestingly, there are lots of different types of application questions, but they're pretty much all the same idea. If you can take a context, create a diagram and follow the stages through, and obviously the more practice you do, the better you get, then you should be able to do well in all of these questions. I can't go through all of the questions, all right? He says turning his calculator off because I don't even know what that's up. I can't go through all of the questions, all right? It's just impossible. This video would go on forever, and I still don't think I'd cover all the different styles. But I'm going to talk about the tips and the tricks at this point in the course. So here's question number 1. Thank you very much, Cambridge, for allowing me to use your examples. That is great, very kind of you. And if you can do me a massive favor, guys, and subscribing to my YouTube channel, it means the world. Why? Nobody watches math videos. I'm never going to go viral, never going to be rich, certainly never going to get famous. But I am happy that more and more schools are beginning to use my resource, because hopefully the lessons actually teach you in a way that you can understand. Subscribing just says, hey, Darren, I've watched the video, thanks very much. It's sort of a way of keeping me going, as it were, rather than sort of giving up. A square sheet of tin measures 12 by 12. Now, what that means is, and they've helped you with the diagram here, that the lengths over there are 12 by 12. 4 equal squares of edge x centimeters are cut out. So what they're saying is this has got an x, and that's an x, and that's an x, and that's an x, an x, an x, and an x, and an x. And the sides are turned up to form an open rectangular box. Now, sadly, a number of students cannot visualize what this looks like. And that's no trick of yours. It's just down to brain chemistry. And sometimes people find the whole 3D visual spatial really hard. It's a bit of a differentiator, but you can learn to get better at it. So please don't turn around and go, oh, I can never do these questions. What they're really saying is we're going to draw some sort of score marks here, if you think of this as being something you might have made in art. And we're going to fold those flaps up. What was flat, we're going to fold them up. And it's going to make a rectangular box. Now, I can guarantee you guys that if you draw a diagram for every one of these questions where you can't go wrong, all right? So first things first, I'm going to draw my box. So this is what it's going to look like when it's folded up. Yes, and I did do technical drawing in the United Kingdom, and look at that, amazing. So the question is now the dimensions of the box, because the question says, if we go to part A, find the values of x for which the volume is 100 centimeters squared. So the trick to this question is they're looking for you to find out the volume first. How do we find the volume? We know the volume of a cuboid is the base times the height times the width. So basically all I've got to do is find this measurement here, that measurement there, and that measurement there. But how are we going to do that? Well, again, if you think to yourself that it is going to fold along this, dotted lines here, then what we can see is actually this distance here is going to be equal to that distance there.